Good evening, and thank you for joining Weird Sisters Shakespeare Society for our production of William Shakespeare's Measure for Measure. Tonight's show benefits our friends at Venus Theater Company, and all donations made will directly benefit Venus and their mission to champion the voices of women in theater. If you wish to make a donation, you can visit the Weird Sisters Facebook page, and the donation link is pinned directly at the top. You can also visit Venus's website at venustheater.org. As always, we thank you so much for your generosity. Before we begin, however, we at Weird Sisters wish to address the current struggles faced by Black and Brown members of our communities here in Maryland, across the United States, and around the world. A company committed to celebrating the diversity of voices and combating gender inequality simply cannot and will not remain silent during this time. Where there is no justice, there is no peace. Friends, there is much work to be done, and it begins with allies taking responsibility for how our actions help to affect crucial change. The Weird Sisters stand in loving support of those seeking justice. We reflect on the lives of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and all those who are oppressed by systems of racism. We say their names. We're dedicated to the mission of doing better. We'll continue to create space and opportunities for artists of color to be seen, heard, and most of all, understood. We promise to be a safe space where the voices of Black and Brown people and the voices of all people of color are celebrated. We will not waver in our support, and we hope that you'll join us. Thank you.
Act 1. Our story begins where most stories of intrigue and injustice come to light, in the rooms of a fabulously wealthy house, in the bosom of privilege, and within the cages made for us by societal expectations. On the banks of the Danube, in the grand old city of Vienna, is where we lay our scene. In the royal palace of Duke Vincentio, a man is about to be given all the power he could ever desire, and all of the chances to do right or wrong by the people. The Duke speaks.
Aeschylus.
My lord.
Of government, the properties to unfold would seem in me to affect speech and discourse, since I am put to know that your own science exceeds in that the lists of all advice my strength can give you, then no more remains, but that to your sufficiency as your worth is able, and let them work. The nature of our people, our cities as art and practice hath enriched any that we remember. There is our commission, from which we would not have you warp. Call hither, I say, bid come before us Angelo. What figure of us think you he will bear? For you must know, we have with special soul elected him our absence to supply, lent him our terror, dressed him with our love, and given his deputation all the organs of our own power. What think you of it?
If any in Vienna be of worth to undergo such ample grace and honor, it is Lord Angelo.
Oh, look where he comes.
Always obedient to your grace's will, I come to know your pleasure.
Angelo, there is a kind of character in thy life that, to the observer, doth thy history fully unfold. Thyself and thy belongings are not thine own, so proper as to waste thyself upon thy virtues. They on thee. Heaven doth with us as we with torches do, not light them for themselves. For if our virtues did not go forth of us, 'twere all alike as if we had them not. Hold therefore, Angelo, in our remove, be thou at full ourself. Mortality and mercy in Vienna live in thy tongue and heart. Old Aeschylus, though first in question, is thy secondary. Take thy commission.
Now, good my lord, let there be some more test made of my mettle before so noble and so great a figure be stamped upon it.
No more evasion. We have, with a leavened and prepared choice, proceeded to you. Therefore, take your honors. Our haste from hence is of so quick condition that it prefers itself and leaves unquestioned matters of needful value. We shall write to you, as time and our concerning shall importune how it goes with us, and do look to know what doth befall you here. So, fare you well. To the hopeful execution do I leave you of your commissions.
Yet give leave, my lord, that we may bring you something on the way.
My haste may not admit it, nor need you, on mine honor, have to do with any scruple. Your scope is as mine own, so to enforce or qualify the laws as to your soul seems good. I'll privily away. I love the people, but do not like to stage me to their eyes. Though it do well, I do not relish well their loud applause and aves vehement, nor do I think the man of safe discretion that does affect it. Once more, fare you well.
The heavens give safety to your purposes.
Lead forth and bring you back in happiness.
I thank you. Fare you well.
I shall desire you, sir, to give me leave to have free speech with you, and it concerns me to look into the bottom of my place, a power I have, but of what strength and name I am not yet instructed.
'Tis so with me. Let us withdraw together, and we may soon our satisfaction have touching that point.
I'll wait upon your honor.
Later that day, on a bustling street in the city, several gentlemen loiter on a corner talking over recent events and the state of affairs between Vienna and Hungary. They're interrupted by a rather great procession of characters and some troubling news. Lucio speaks.
If the Duke with the other Duke come not to the composition with the King of Hungary, why then all the Dukes fall upon the King.
Heaven grant us its peace, but not the King of Hungary's.
Amen.
Thou concludest like the sanctimonious pirate that went to sea with the 10 Commandments, but scraped one out of the table.
Thou shalt not steal.
Aye, that he raised.
Yeah. Why, it was a commandment to command the captain and all the rest from their functions they put forth to steal. There's not a soldier of all of us that in the Thanksgiving before meat do relish the petition well that prays for peace.
I never heard any soldier dislike it.
I believe thee, for I think thou never wast where grace was said.
No? A dozen times at least.
What, meter?
In any proportion or in any language.
I think, or in any religion.
And why not? Grace is grace, despite of all controversy. Behold, behold, where Madam Mitigation comes. I have purchased as many diseases under her roof as to come to
what, I pray?
$2,000-3,000 a year.
Aye.
Oh.
And more.
a French crown more.
Well, well, there's one yonder arrested and carried to prison was worth 5,000 of you all.
Who's that, I pray thee?
Marry, sir, that's Claudio.
Oh.
Signor Claudio.
Audio to prison? 'Tis not so.
Nay, but I know 'tis so. I saw him arrested, saw him carried away, and which is more, within these 3 days, his head to be chopped off.
After all this fooling, I would not have it so. Art thou sure of this?
I am too sure of it, and it is for getting Madame Giulietta with child.
Ooh.
Believe me, this may be. He promised to meet me 2 hours since, and he was ever precise in promise-keeping.
Besides, you know, it draws something near to the speech we had to such a purpose.
Most of all agreeing with the proclamation.
Away! Let's go learn the truth of it.
Thus, what with the war, what with the sweat, what with the gallows, and what with the poverty, I am custom shrunk. Oh, how now? What's the news with you?
Yonder man is carried to prison.
Well, what has he done? A woman. But what's his offense? Roping for trouts in a peculiar river. What? Is there a maid with child by him? No, but there's a woman with maid by him. You have not heard of the proclamation, have you? What proclamation, man? All houses in the suburbs of Vienna must be plucked down. And what shall become of those in the city? They shall stand for seed. They had gone down too, but that a wise burgher put in for them. Oh, shall all our houses of resort in the suburbs be pulled down? To the ground, mistress. Why, here is a change in the Commonwealth. What shall become of me? Come, fear you not. Good counselors lack no clients. Though you change your place, you need not change your trade. I'll be your tapster still. Courage, there'll be plenty taken on you. You have that blue in your eyes almost out in the service. You will be considered. What's to do here, Thomas Tapster? Let's withdraw. Well, here comes Signor Claudio, led by the provost to prison. And there's Madame Juliet.
Fellow, why dost thou show me thus to the world? Bear me to prison where I am committed.
I do not do it in evil disposition, but for Lord Angelo by special charge.
Thus can the demigod authority make us pay down our offense by weight, the words of heaven. On whom it will, it will. On whom it will not, so it's still 'tis just.
Why, how now, Claudio? Whence comes this restraint?
Aye, from too much liberty, my Lucio, liberty. As surfeit is the father of much fast, so every scope by the immoderate use turns to restraint. Our natures do pursue, like rats that raven down their proper bane, a thirsty evil. And when we drink, we die.
What's thy offense, Claudio?
What but to speak of would offend again?
What is it, murder?
No.
Lechery?
Call it so.
Away, sir, you must go.
One word, good friend. Lucio, a word with you.
100 if they'll do you any good. Is lechery still looked after?
Thus stands it with me. Upon a true contract, I got possession of Julietta's bed. You know the lady. She is fast my wife. Save that we do the denunciation lack of outward order. This we came not to, only for propagation of a dower remaining in the coffer of her friends, from whom we thought it meet to hide our love till time had made them for us. But it chances the stealth of our most mutual entertainment with character too gross is writ on Juliet.
With child, perhaps?
Aye, unhappily even so. And the new deputy now for the Duke awakes me all the enrolled penalties, which have, like unscoured armor, hung by the wall so long that 19 zodiacs have gone round and none of them been worn. And, for a name, now puts the drowsy and neglected act freshly on me. 'Tis surely for a name.
Send after the Duke and appeal to him.
I have done so, but he's not to be found. I prithee, Lucio, do me this kind service. This day my sister should the cloister enter, and there receive her approbation, acquaint her with the danger of my state, implore her in my voice that she make friends to the strict deputy. Bid herself assay him. I have great hope in that, for in her youth there is a prone and speechless dialect, such as move men. Beside, she hath prosperous art when she will play with reason and discourse, and well she can persuade.
I pray she may. As well for the encouragement of the like, which else would stand under grievous imposition, as for the enjoying of thy life, who I would be sorry should be thus foolishly lost at a game of tic-tac.
Yeah.
All to her.
I thank you, good friend Lucio.
Within 2 hours.
Come, officer, away.
In a nearby monastery just outside the city, Duke Vincentio meets with Thomas, a Minoritan friar whom he is attempting to enlist in his plot to uncover the true characters of his ministers. The Duke speaks.
I desire thee to give me secret harbor hath a purpose more grave and wrinkled than the aims and ends of burning youth.
May your grace speak of it.
My holy sir, none better knows than you how I have ever loved the life removed and held in little idle price to haunt assemblies where youth and cost and witless bravery keeps. I have delivered to Lord Angelo my absolute power and place here in Vienna, and he supposes me traveled to Poland, and so it is received. Now, pious sir, you will demand of me why I do this.
Gladly, my lord.
We have strict statutes and most biting laws, which for this 14 years we have let slip. Now, as fond fathers, having bound up in the threatening twigs of birch, only to stick it in their children's sight for terror not to use, in time the rod becomes more mocked than feared. So our decrees, dead to infliction, to themselves are dead.
It rested in your grace to unloose this tied-up justice when you pleased, and in it you more dreadful would have seemed than in Lord Angelo.
I do fear too dreadful, sith 'twas my fault to give the people scope. 'Twould be my tyranny to strike and gall them for what I bid them do. Therefore, indeed, my father, I have on Angelo imposed my office, who may, in the ambush of my name, strike home, and yet my nature, never in the fight, to do in slander. And to behold his sway, I will, as 'twere a brother of your order, visit both prince and people. Therefore, I prithee, supply me with the habit, and instruct me how I may formally in person bear me like a true friar. More reasons for this action at our more leisure shall I render you. Only this one, Lord Angelo is precise. Stands at a guard with envy, scarce confesses that his blood flows, or that his appetite is more bread than stone. Hence shall we see, if power change purposes, what our seemers be.
Standing within the courtyard of the convent of the Order of St. Clare, Isabella, a postulant, and Francisca, a sworn sister, talk of life behind the cloistered walls. Isabella speaks.
And have you nuns no farther privileges?
Are not these large enough?
Yes, truly, I speak not as desiring more, but rather wishing a more strict restraint upon the sisterhoods, the votarists of St. Clare.
Ho! Peace be in this place.
Who's that which calls?
It's a man's voice. Gentle Isabel, turn you the key, and know you this business of him. You may, I may not, for you are yet unsworn.
Peace and prosperity, who is that calls?
Hail, virgin, if you be, as those cheeks roses proclaim you are no less. Can you so stayed me as bring me to the sight of Isabella, a novice of this place, and the fair sister to her unhappy brother Claudio?
Why her unhappy brother? Let me ask the rather, for I now must make you know I am that Isabella and his sister.
Gentle and fair, your brother kindly greets you. Not to be weary with you, he's in prison.
Woe me for what?
For that which, if myself might be his judge, he should receive his punishment in thanks. He hath got his friend with child.
Sir, make me not your story.
It is true. Your brother and his lover have embraced. As those that feed grow full at blossoming time, that from the seedless the bare fallows bring to teeming foison, even so her plenteous womb expresseth his full tilth and husbandry.
Someone with child by him, oh, my cousin Juliet.
Is she your cousin?
Adoptedly, as schoolmates change their names by vain thought apt affection.
She it is.
Oh, let him marry her.
This is the point. The Duke is very strangely gone from hence. Upon his place governs Lord Angelo, a man whose blood is very snow broth, one who never feels the wanton stings and motions of the sense, but doth rebate and blunt his natural edge with profits of the mind, steady and fast. He hath picked out an act under whose heavy sense your brother's life falls into forfeit. He arrests him on it, and follows close the rigor of the statute to make him an example. All hope is gone, unless you have the grace by your fair prayer to soften Angelo. And that's my pith of business twixt you and your poor brother.
Doth he so seek his life?
Has censured him already, and as I hear, the provost hath a warrant for his execution.
Alas, what poor abilities in me to do him good.
I say the power
you have.
My power, alas, I doubt.
Our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we oft might win. By fearing to attempt, go to Lord Angelo and let him learn to know.
I'll see what I can do.
But speedily.
I will about it straight, no longer staying, but to give the mother notice of my affair. I humbly thank you. Commend me to my brother. Soon at night I'll send him certain word of my success.
I take my leave of you.
Good sir, adieu.
Act 2. In the great hall of an imposing house, Angelo, Aeschylus, the provost, and other men of the law gather to discuss the pitiful case of Claudio and his lady. Angelo speaks.
We must not make a scarecrow of the law, setting it up to fear the birds of prey, and let it keep one shape, till custom make it their perch and not their terror.
Aye, but yet let us be keen, and rather cut a little than fall and bruise to death. Alas, this gentleman whom I would save had a most noble father. Let your honor know that in the working of your own affections, had time cohered with place or place with wishing, or that the resolute acting of your blood could have attained the effect of your own purpose, whether you had not sometime in your life erred in this point, which you now censure him, and pulled the law upon you.
'Tis one thing to be tempted, Aeschylus, another thing to fall. You may not so extenuate his offense, for I have had such faults, but rather tell me, when I that censure him do so offend, let mine own judgment pattern out my death, and nothing come impartial. Sir, he must die.
Be it as your wisdom will.
Where's the provost?
Here, if you like, your honor.
See that Claudio be executed by 9 tomorrow morning. Bring him his confessor, let him be prepared, for that's the utmost of his pilgrimage.
Oh, God forgive him, and forgive us all. Some rise by sin, and some by virtue fall. Some run from breaks of ice and answer none, and some condemned for a fault alone.
Come, bring them away. If these be good people in a commonweal that do nothing but use their abuses in common houses, I know no law. Bring them away.
How now, sir? What's your name and what's the matter?
Oh, if it please your honor, I am the poor duke's constable, and my name is Elbow. Elbow. I do lean upon justice, sir, and do bring in here before your good honor 2 notorious benefactors.
Benefactors? Well, what benefactors are they? Are they not malefactors?
If it please your honor, I know not well what they are. But precise villains they are, that I am sure of, and void of all profanation in the world that good Christians ought to have.
This comes off well. Here's a wise officer.
Go to. What quality are they of? Elbow is your name? What dost thou not speak, Elbow?
He cannot, sir. He's out at Elbow.
What are you, sir?
He, sir, a tapster, sir, parcel bawd, one that serves a bad woman, whose house, sir, was, as they say, plucked down in the suburbs. And now she professes a hot house, which I think is a very ill house, too.
How know you that?
My wife, sir, whom I detest before heaven and your honor.
Oh, thy wife?
I, sir, whom, I thank heaven, is an honest woman.
Dost thou detest her, therefore?
I say, sir, I will detest myself also as well as she, that this house, if it be not a bawd's house, it is a pity of her life, for it is a naughty house.
How dost thou know that, constable?
Marry, sir, by my wife, who, if she had been a woman cardinally given, might have been accused in fornication, adultery, and all uncleanliness there.
By the woman's means?
Aye, sir, by Mistress Overdone's means. But as she spit in his face, so she defied him.
Sir, if it please your honor, this is not so.
Prove it before these varlets here, thou honorable man, prove it.
Do you hear how he misplaces?
Sir, she came in great with child and longing, saving your honor's reverence, for stewed prunes. Sir, we have had but two in the house, which at that very distant time stood, as it were, in a fruit dish, a dish of some 3 pence. Your honors have seen such dishes? They are not china dishes, but very good dishes.
Go to. No matter for the dish, sir.
No, indeed, sir, not of a pin. You are therein in the right, but to the point. As I say, this Mistress Elbow, being, as I say, with child, and being great-bellied, and longing, as I said, for prunes, and having but two in the dish, as I said, Master Frothier, this very man having eaten the rest, as I said, and as I say, paying for them very honestly, for as you know, Master Froth, I could not give you 3 pence again.
No, indeed.
Very well. You being then, if you remembered, cracking the stones of the foresaid prunes?
So I did indeed.
Aye, very well. I telling you then.
Come, you are a tedious fool. To the purpose. What was done to Elbow's wife that he hath cause to complain of? Come me what was done to her?
Sir, your honor cannot come to that yet.
No, sir, nor I mean it not.
Sir, but you shall come to it by your honor's leave, and I beseech you, look into Master Froth here, sir, a man of 80 pounds a year, whose father died at Hallowmas. Was it not at Hallowmas, Master Froth?
All Holland Eve.
Why, very well. I hope here be truths. He, sir, sitting, as I say, in a lower chair, sir, 'twas in the bunch of grapes, where indeed you have had a delight to sit, have you not?
I have so, because it is an open room and good for winter.
This will last out a night in Russia, when nights are longest there. I'll take my leave, and leave you to the hearing of the cause, hoping you'll find good cause to whip them all.
I think no less. Good morrow to your lordship. Now, sir, come on. What was done to Elbow's wife once more?
Once, sir? There was nothing done to her once.
I beseech you, sir, ask me what this man did to my wife.
I beseech your honor, ask me.
Well, sir, what did this gentleman to her?
I beseech you, sir, look in this gentleman's face. Good Master Froth, look upon his honor. 'Tis for a good purpose. Doth your honor mark his face?
Aye, sir, very well.
Yea, I beseech you, mark it well.
Well, I do so.
Doth your honor see any harm in his face?
Why, no.
I'll be supposed upon a book his face is the worst thing about him. Good then, if his face be the worst thing about him, how could Master Froth do the constable's wife any harm? I would know that of your honor.
He's in the right. Constable, what say you to it?
First, and it like you, the house is a respected house. Next, this is a respected fellow, and his mistress is a respected woman.
By this hand, sir, his wife is a more respected person than any of us all.
Varlet, thou liest, wicked varlet! The time has yet to come that she was ever respected with man, woman, or child.
Sir, she was respected with him before he married with her.
Oh, thou caitiff! Oh, thou varlet! I respected with her before I was married to her. If ever I was respected with her, or she with me, let not your worship think me the poor duke's officer. Prove this, or I'll have mine action of battery on thee.
If he took you a box of the ear, you might have your action of slander, too.
Marry, I thank your good worship for it. What is your worship's pleasure I shall do with this wicked caitiff?
Truly, officer, because he hath some offences in him that thou wouldst discover if thou couldst, let him continue in his courses till thou knowest what they are.
Marry, I thank your worship for it. Thou seest, thou wicked varlet, now what's come upon thee. Thou art to continue. Now, thou varlet, thou art to continue.
Where were you born, friend?
Here in Vienna, sir.
Are you of 80 pounds a year, sir?
Yes, and please you, sir.
So, what trade are you of, sir?
Tapster, a poor widow's tapster.
Your mistress' name?
Mistress Overdone.
Hath she had any more than one husband?
9, sir. Overdone by the last.
9? Come hither to me, Master Froth. Master Froth, I would not have you acquainted with tapsters. They will draw you, Master Froth, and you will hang them. Get you gone. Let me hear no more of you.
I thank your worship. For mine own part, I never come into any room in a tap house, but I am drawn in.
Well, no more of it, Master Froth. Farewell. Come you hither to me, Master Tapster. What's your name, Master Tapster?
Pompey.
Pompey. You are partly a bawd, Pompey, howsoever you color it, in being a tapster, are you not? Come, tell me true, it shall be the better for you.
Truly, sir, I am a poor fellow that would live.
How would you live, Pompey? By being a bawd? What do you think of the trade, Pompey? Is it a lawful trade?
If the law would allow it, sir.
But the law will not allow it, Pompey, nor it shall be not allowed in Vienna. There are pretty orders beginning, I can tell you. It is but heading and hanging.
If you head and hang all that offend that way but for 10 year together, you'll be glad to give out a commission for more heads. If this law hold in Vienna 10 year, I'll rent the fairest house in it after 3 pence a day. If you live to see this come to pass, say Pompey told you so.
Thank you, good Pompey, and in requital of your prophecy, hark you. I advise you, let me not find you here before me again on any complaint whatsoever. No, not for dwelling where you do. If I do, Pompey, I shall beat you to your tent and prove a shrewd Caesar to you. In plain dealing, Pompey, I shall have you whipped. So, for this time, Pompey, fare you well.
I thank your worship for your good counsel.
Come hither to me, Master Elbow. Come hither, Master Constable. How long have you been in this place of constable?
7 years and a half, sir.
I thought by your readiness in the office you had continued in it some time. You say 7 years together?
And a half, sir.
Look, you bring me in the names of some 6 or 7, the most sufficient of your parish.
To your worship's house, sir?
To my house. Fare you well. What's of the clock, thank you?
11, sir.
I pray you, home to dinner with me.
Oh, I humbly thank you.
It grieves me for the death of Claudio, but there's no remedy.
Lord Angelo is severe.
It is but needful. Mercy is not itself that oft looks so. Pardon is still the nurse of second woe, but yet, poor Claudio. There is no remedy. Come, sir.
In the anteroom of Angelo's house, the provost begs a private conversation with his lord. Angelo speaks.
Now what's the matter, provost?
Is it your will that Claudio shall die tomorrow?
Did I not tell thee yea? Hadst thou not order? Why dost thou ask again?
Lest I might be too rash under your good correction. I have seen when after execution judgment hath repented o'er his doom.
Go to, let that be mine. Do you your office, or give up your place, and ye shall be well spared.
Oh, I crave your honor's pardon. What shall be done, sir, with the groaning Juliet? She's very near her hour.
Dispose her to some more fitter place, and that with speed.
My lord, the sister of the condemned man desires access to you.
Appia's sister.
Why, my good lord, she is a very virtuous maid, and to be shortly of the sisterhood, not already.
Well, let her be admitted. You're welcome. What's your will?
I am a woeful suitor to your honor. Please but your honor hear me.
Well, what's your suit?
There is a vice that most I do abhor, and most desire should meet the blow of justice, for which I would not plead, but that I must, for which I must not plead, but that I am at war twixt will and will not.
Well, the matter?
I have a brother is condemned to die. I do beseech you, let it be his fault and not my brother.
Condemn the fault and not the actor of it. Why, every fault's condemned ere it be done. Mine were the very cipher of a function, to find the faults whose fine stands in record and let go by the actor.
Oh, just but severe law. I had a brother then. Heaven keep your honor.
Give it not over so. To him again, entreat him. Kneel down before him, hang upon his gown.
Must he needs die?
Maiden, no remedy.
Yes, I do think that you might pardon him, and neither heaven nor man grieve at the mercy.
I will not do it.
But can you if you would?
Look, what I will not That I cannot do.
But might you do it and do the world no wrong? If so, your heart were touched with that remorse as mine is to him.
He's sentenced. 'Tis too late.
You are too cold.
Too late? Why, no. I that do speak a word may call it back again. Well, believe this. No ceremony that to great one longs, not the king's crown, nor the judge's robe, the deputed sword, the marshal's truncheon, become them with one so half so good a grace as mercy does. If he had been as you, and you as he, you would have slipped like him, but he like you would not have been so stern.
Pray you be gone.
I would to heaven I had your potency and that you were Isabel. Should it then be thus? No, I would tell what 'twere to be a judge and what a prisoner.
Aye, touch him. There's the vein.
Your brother is a forfeit of the law, and you but waste your words.
Why, all the souls that were forfeit once. How would you be if he, which is the top of judgment, should but judge you as you are? Oh, think on that. And mercy then will breathe within your lips like man new made.
Be you content, fair maid. It is the law, not I, condemn your brother. Were he my kinsman, brother, or my son, it should be thus with them. He must die tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Oh, that's sudden. Spare him. He's not prepared for death. Good, my lord, bethink you. Who is that hath died for this offense? There's many have committed it.
The law hath not been dead, though it hath slept. Those many had not dared to do that evil if the first that did the edict infringe had answered for his deed.
Yet show some pity.
I show it most of all when I show justice, for then I pity those I do not know, which a dismissed offense would after gall, and do him right that, answering one foul wrong, lives not to act another. Be satisfied, your brother dies tomorrow. Be content.
So you must be the first that gives this sentence, and he that suffers. Oh, it is excellent to have a giant strength, but it is tyrannous to use it like a giant.
That's well said.
Could great men thunder as Jove himself would? Jove would ne'er be quiet, for every pelting, petty officer would use his heaven for thunder, nothing but thunder. Merciful heaven, thou rather with thy sharp and sulphurous bolt splits the unwedgeable and gnarled oak than the soft myrtle. But man, proud man, dressed in a little brief authority, most ignorant of what he's most assured, his glassy essence like an angry ape, plays such fantastic tricks before high heaven as make the angels weep, who with our spleens would all themselves laugh mortal.
To him, wench, he will relent. He's coming, I perceive it.
We cannot weigh our brother with ourself. Great men may jest with saints, 'tis wit in them, but it's a less foul profanation.
Thou art the right girl, more of that.
Why do you put these sayings upon me?
Because authority, though it err like others, hath a kind of medicine in itself that skins the vice of the top. Go to your bosom, knock there, and ask your heart what it doth know, that like my brother's fault, if it confess a natural guiltiness such as is his, let it not sound a thought upon your tongue against my brother's life.
She speaks, and 'tis such sense that my sense breeds with it. Fare you well.
Oh, gentle my lord, come back.
I will bethink me. Come again tomorrow.
Hark how I'll bribe you, good my lord, come back.
How? Bribe me?
Aye, with such gift that heaven shall share with you, not with fond shekels of tested gold or stones whose rates are either rich or poor as fancy values them, but with true prayers that shall be up at heaven and enter there ere sunrise, prayers from preserved souls, from fasting maids whose minds are dedicate to nothing temporal.
Well, come to me tomorrow.
Go to. 'Tis well, away.
Heaven keep your honor safe.
Amen. for I am that way going to temptation where prayers cross.
At what time tomorrow shall I attend your lordship?
At any time forenoon.
Save your honor.
From thee, even from thy virtue. What's this? What's this? Is this her fault or mine? The tempter or the tempted? Who sins most? Ha! Not she, nor doth she tempt, but it is I that, lying by the violet of the sun, do as the carrion does, not as the flower corrupt with virtuous season. Can it be that modesty may more betray our senses than woman's lightness? Having waste ground enough, shall we desire to raise the sanctuary and pitch our evils there? Oh, fie, fie, fie! What dost thou, or what art thou, Angelo? Dost thou desire her foully for those things that make her good? Oh, let her brother live. Thieves for their robbery have authority when judges steal themselves. What? Do I love her? That I desire her to speak again and feast upon her eyes? What is't I dream on? Oh, cunning enemy, that to catch a saint with saints doth bait thy hook. Most dangerous is that temptation that does goad us on to sin in loving virtue. Never could the strumpet, with all her double vigor, art, and nature stir once my temper, but this virtuous maid subdues me quite. Ever till now, when men were fond, I smiled and wondered how.
In Vienna's dark and gloomy prison stronghold, Duke Vincentio, disguised as a holy friar, comes to speak with the provost regarding Claudio's fate. The Duke speaks.
Hail to you, provost. So I think you are.
I am the provost. What's your will, good friar?
Bound by my charity and my blessed order, I have come to visit the afflicted spirits here in the prison. Do me the common right to let me see them and to make me know the nature of their crimes, that I may minister to them accordingly.
I will do more than that if it were needful. Look, here comes one, a gentlewoman of mine, who, failing the flaws of her own youth, hath blistered her report she is with child. For he that got it sentenced, young man, more fit to do another such office than to die for this.
Oh, when must he die?
As I think tomorrow. I have provided for you. Stay a while, and you shall be conducted.
Oh, repent you, fair one, of the sin you carry.
And bear the shame most patiently.
I'll teach you how you shall arraign your conscience and try your penitence, if it be sound or hollowly put on.
I'll gladly learn.
Love you the man that wronged you?
Yes, as I love the woman that wronged him.
So then it seems your most offenseful act was mutually committed.
Mutually.
Then was your sin of heavier kind than his?
I do confess it and repent it, Father.
'Tis meet so, daughter, but lest you do repent, as that the sin hath brought you to the shame, which sorrow is always toward ourselves, not heaven, showing we would not spare heaven as we love it, but as we stand in fear.
I do repent it, as it is an evil. Take the shame with joy.
There rest. Your partner, as I hear, must die tomorrow, and I am going with instruction to him. Oh, grace go with you, benedicite.
Must die tomorrow? Oh, injurious love that respites me a life. Its very comfort is still a dying horror.
'Tis a pity of him.
Later that day, we find Lord Angelo in his office mulling over his interaction with Isabella, Claudio's good and virtuous sister. He speaks.
When I would pray and think, I think and pray to several subjects. Heaven hath my empty words, whilst my invention, hearing not my tongue, anchors on Isabel. How now, who's there?
One Isabel, a sister, desires access to you.
Teach her the way. Oh, heavens, why does my blood thus muster to my heart, making it both unable for itself and dispossessing all my other parts of necessary fitness? To play the foolish throng with one that swoons, come all to help him, and so stop the air by which he would revive, and even so the general, subject to a well-wished king, quit their own part, and in obsequious fondness crowd to his presence, where their untaught love must needs appear offense. How now, fair maid?
I am come to know your pleasure.
That you might know it would much better please me than to demand what 'tis. Your brother cannot live.
Even so, heaven keep your honor.
Yet may he live a while, and it may be as long as you or I. Yet he must die.
Under your sentence?
Yea.
When, I beseech you, that in his reprieve longer or shorter he may be so fitted that his soul sicken not.
Ha! Fie, these filthy vices. It were as good to pardon him that hath from nature stolen a man already made, as to remit their saucy sweetness that do coin heaven's image in stamps that are forbid. 'Tis all as easy falsely to take away a life true made, as to put metal in restrained means to make a false one.
'Tis set so down in heaven, but not in earth.
Say you so? Then I shall pose you quickly. Which had you rather, that the most just law now took your brother's life, or to redeem him, give up your body to such sweet uncleanness as she that he hath stained?
Sir, believe this, I had rather give my body than my soul.
I talk not of your soul. Our compelled sins stand more for number than account.
How say you?
Nay, I'll not warrant that, for I can speak against the thing I say. Answer to this. I, now the voice of the recorded law, pronounce a sentence on your brother's life. Might there not be a charity in sin to save this brother's life?
It please you to do it. I'll take it as a peril to my soul. It is no sin at all, but charity.
Pleased you to do it at peril of your soul, were equal poise of sin and charity.
That I do beg his life if it be sin. Heaven let me bear it. You granting of my suit, if that be sin, I'll make it my morn prayer to have it added to the faults of mine and nothing of your answer.
Nay, but hear me, your sense pursues not mine. Either you are ignorant or seem so crafty, and that's not good.
Let me be ignorant and in nothing good, but graciously to know I am no better.
Thus wisdom wishes to make most bright when it doth tax itself. But mark me, to be received plain, I'll speak more gross. Your brother is to die.
So.
And his offense is so, as it appears, accountant to the law upon that pain.
True.
Admit no other way to save his life, that you, his sister, finding yourself desired of such a person whose credit with the judge or own great place could fetch your brother from the manacles, you must lay down the treasures of your body to this supposed, or else let him suffer. What would you do?
As much for my poor brother as myself. That is, were I under the terms of death, the impression of keen whips I'd wear as rubies and strip myself to death as to a bed that longing have been sick for ere I'll yield my body up to shame.
Then must your brother die.
And for the cheaper way, better were a brother died at once and that a sister by redeeming him should die forever.
Were not you then as cruel as the sentence that you have slandered so?
Taking me in ransom and free pardon are of 2 houses. Lawful mercy is nothing kin to foul redemption.
You seemed of late to make the law a tyrant, and rather proved the sliding of your brother a merriment than a vice.
Oh, pardon me, my lord, it oft falls out to have what we would have. We speak not what we mean. I something to excuse the thing I hate for his advantage that I dearly love.
We are all frail.
Else let my brother die.
Nay, women are frail too.
Aye, as the glasses where they view themselves, which are as easy broke as they make forms. Women, help heaven men their creation mar in profiting by them. Nay, call us 10 times frail, for we are soft as our complexions are, and credulous to false prints.
I think it well. And from this testimony of your own sex, since I suppose we are made to be no stronger than faults may shake our frames, let me be bold. I do arrest your words. Be that you are, that is, a woman. If you be more, you're none. If you be one, as you are well expressed by all external warrants, show it now by putting on the destined livery.
I have no tongue but one. Gentle my lord, let me entreat you speak the former language.
Plainly conceive. I love you.
My brother did love Juliet, and you tell me that he shall die for it.
He shall not, Isa, if you give me love.
I know your virtue hath a license in't, which seems a little fouler than it is to pluck on others.
Believe me, on mine honor, my words express my purpose.
Shall honor to be much believed and most pernicious purpose. Seeming, I will proclaim thee, Angela. Look for it. Sign me a present pardon for my brother, or with an outstretched throat, I'll tell the world aloud what man thou art.
Who will believe thee, Isabel? My unsoiled name, the austereness of my life, my vouch against you, and my place in the state will so your accusation overweigh that you will stifle in your own report and smell of calumny. Now I have begun, and now I give my sensual race the rein. Fit thy consent to my sharp appetite, lay by all nicety and prolixious blushes that banish what they sue for, redeem thy brother by yielding up thy body to my will. Or else he must not only die the death, but thy unkindness shall his death draw out to lingering sufferance. Answer me tomorrow, or by the affection that now guides me most, I'll prove a tyrant to him. As for you, say what you can. My false o'erweighs your true.
To whom should I complain? Did I tell this, who would believe me? Oh, perilous mouths that bear in them one and the self-same tongue, either of condemnation or of proof, bidding the law make curtsy to their will, hooking both right and wrong to the appetite to follow as it draws. I'll to my brother. Though he hath fallen by prompture of the blood, yet hath he in him such a mind of honor that had he 20 heads to tender down on 20 bloody blocks, he'd yield them up before his sister should her body stoop to such abhorrent pollution. Then Isabel live chaste, and brother die. More than our brother is our chastity. I'll tell him yet of Angela's request and fit his mind to death for his soul's rest.
Act 3. As the hour of Claudio's judgment creeps closer, the young man keeps the counsel of his disguised confessor and the provost. Ever the optimist, he holds out hope for reprieve. The Duke speaks.
So then you hope of pardon from Lord Angelo?
The miserable have no other medicine but only hope. I've hoped to live and am prepared to die.
Oh, be absolute for death. Either death or life shall thereby be the sweeter.
What ho, peace here, grace and good company.
Who's there? Come in. The wish deserves a welcome.
Dear sir, ere long I'll visit you again.
Oh, most holy sir, I thank you.
My business is a word or two with Claudio.
And very welcome. Look, Signor, here's your sister.
Provost, a word with you.
Oh, as many as you please.
Bring me to hear them speak, where I may be concealed.
Now, sister, what's the comfort?
Why, as all comforts are, most good indeed. Lord Angelo, having affairs to heaven, intends you for his swift ambassador, where you shall be in everlasting leisure. Therefore, your best appointment make with speed. Tomorrow you set on.
Is there no remedy?
None but such as to save a head, to cleave a heart in twain.
But is there any?
Yes, brother, you may live. There is a devilish mercy, and the judge, if you'll implore it, that will free your life, but fetter you till death.
But what? In what nature?
In such a one as, you consenting to it, would bark your honor from that trunk you bear and leave you naked.
Let me know the point.
Oh, I do fear thee, Claudio, and I quake, lest thou a feverous life shouldst entertain, and 6 or 7 winters more respect than a perpetual honor. Darest thou die? The sense of death is most in apprehension, and the poor beetle that we tread upon in corporal sufferance finds a pang as great as when a giant dies.
Why give you me this shame? Think you I can a resolution fetch from flowery tenderness? If I must die, I will encounter darkness as a bride and hug it in mine arms.
There spake my brother, there my father's grave did utter forth a voice. Yes, thou must die. Thou art too noble to conserve a life in base appliances. This outward sainted deputy whose settled visage and deliberate word nips youth in the head.
The Prenzy? Angelo?
'Tis the cunning livery of hell, the damnedest body to invest and cover in prinzy guards. Dost thou think, Claudio, if I would yield him my virginity, thou mightst be freed?
Oh, heavens, it cannot be.
Yes, he would give it thee from this rank offense to offend him still. This night's the time that I should do what I abhor to name, or else thou diest tomorrow.
Thou shalt not do it.
Oh, were it but my life, I'd throw it down for your deliverance as frankly as a pin.
Thanks, dear Isabel.
Be ready, Claudio, for your death tomorrow.
Yes. Has he affections in him that thus can make him bite the law by the nose when he would force it? Sure, it is no sin, or of the deadly 7, it is the least.
Which is the least?
If it were damnable, he being so wise, why would he, for the momentary trick, be perdurably fined? Oh, Isabel.
What says my brother?
Death is a fearful thing.
And shamed life a hateful.
Aye, but to die and go we know not where, to lie in cold obstruction and to rot, this sensible warm motion to become a kneaded clod, and the delighted spirit to bathe in fiery floods, or to reside in thrilling region of thick-ribbed ice, to be imprisoned in viewless winds and blown with restless violence round about the pendant world, or to be worse than worst of those lawless and uncertain thought imagined howling. 'Tis too horrible. The weariest and most loathed worldly life that age, ache, penury, and imprisonment can lay on nature is a paradise to what we fear of death.
Alas, alas.
Sweet sister, let me live. What sin you do to save a brother's life, nature dispenses with the deed so far that it becomes a virtue.
Oh, you beast! Oh, you faithless coward, oh dishonest wretch! What? Wilt thou be made a man out of my vice? It's not a kind of incest to take a life from thine own sister's shame. What should I think? Heaven's shield, my mother played my father fair for such a warped slip of wilderness ne'er issued from his blood. Take my defiance, die, perish. Might but my bending down reprieve thee from thy fate, and should proceed, I'll pray 1,000 prayers for thy death, no word to save thee.
Nay, nay, hear me, Isabel.
Oh, fie! Thy sin's not accidental, but a trade. Mercy to thee would prove itself a bond. Best thou diest quickly.
Oh, hear me, Isabella.
Vouchsafe a word, young sister, but one word.
What is your will?
Might you dispense with your leisure, I would by and by have some speech with you. The satisfaction I would require is likewise your own benefit.
I have no superfluous leisure. My stay must be stolen out of other affairs. But I will tend you a while.
Son, I have overheard what hath passed between you and your sister. Angelo had never the purpose to corrupt her, only he hath made an essay of her virtue to practice his judgment with the disposition of natures. She, having the truth of honor in her, hath made him that gracious denial which he is most glad to receive. I am confessor to Angelo, and I know this to be true. Therefore, prepare yourself to death. Do not satisfy your resolution with hopes that are fallible. Tomorrow you must die. Go to your knees and make ready.
Let me ask my sister pardon. I am so out of love with life that I will sue to be rid of it.
Hold you there. Farewell. Provost, a word with you.
What's your will, father?
That now you are come, you will be gone. Leave me a while with the maid. My mind promises with my habit no loss shall touch her by my company.
Oh, in good time.
The hand hath made you fair, hath made you good. The goodness that is cheap in beauty makes beauty brief in goodness. But grace, being the soul of your complexion, shall keep the body of it ever fair. The assault that Angelo hath made to you, fortune hath conveyed to my understanding, but that frailty hath examples for his failing. I should wonder at Angelo. How will you do to content his substitute and to save your brother?
I am now going to resolve him. I had rather my brother die by the law than my son should be unlawfully born. But oh, how much is the good Duke deceived in Angelo? If ever he return and I can speak to him, I will open my lips in vain or discover his government.
Yes. As the matter now stands, he will avoid your accusation. Therefore, fasten your ear on my advisings. I do make myself believe that you may most uprighteously do a poor wronged lady a merited benefit. Redeem your brother from the angry law, do no shame to your gracious person, and much please the absent Duke.
Let me hear you speak farther. I have a spirit to do anything that appears not foul in the truth of my spirit.
Have you not heard speak of Mariana, the sister of Frederick, the great soldier who miscarried at sea?
I have heard of the lady, and good words went with her name.
She should this Angelo have married, between which time of the contract and limit of the solemnity her brother Frederick was wrecked at sea, having in that perished vessel the dowry of his sister. With him the portion and sinew of her fortune, her marriage dowry, with both her competent husband, this well-seeming Angelo.
Can this be so? Did Angelo so leave her?
Left her in her tears, and tried not one of them with his comfort, swallowed his vows whole, pretending in her discoveries of dishonor, and few bestowed her on her own lamentation, which she yet wears for his sake, and he, a marble to her tears, is washed with them, but relents not.
What corruption in this life that will let this man live? Oh, but how out of this can she avail?
Is a rupture that you may easily heal, and the cure of it not only saves your brother, but keeps you from dishonor in doing it.
Show me how, good father.
This forenamed maid hath yet in her the continuance of her first affection. His unjust unkindness, that in all reason should have quenched her love, hath, like an impediment in the current, made it more violent and unruly. Do you to Angelo answer his requiring with a plausible obedience, only refer yourself to this advantage. First, that your stay with him may not be long, that the time may have all shadow and silence in it, and the place answer to convenience. This being granted in course, we shall advise the wronged maid to set up in your appointment, go in your place. If the encounter acknowledge itself hereafter, it may compel him to her recompense, and here, by this, is your brother saved, your honor untainted, the poor Mariana advantaged, and the corrupt deputy.
The image of it gives me content already, and I trust it will grow to a most prosperous perfection. Thank you for this comfort. Fare you well, good father. Just outside of the prison, the Duke finds himself a witness to a scuffle involving Constable Elbow and Pompey the Clown, who has, presumably, been caught stealing. Elbow speaks.
Nay, if there be no remedy for it, but that you will needs buy and sell men and women like beasts, we shall have all the world drink brown and white bastard.
Heavens, what stuff is here?
Oh, bless you, good Father Friar.
And you, good brother father, what offense hath this man made you, sir?
Marry, sir, he hath offended the law, and sir, we take him to be a thief too, sir, for we have found upon him, sir, a strange picklock, which we have sent to the deputy.
Fie, sirrah, a bawd, a wicked bawd, the evil that thou causest to be done, that is but this means to live. Say to thyself, from their abominable and beastly touches, I drink, I eat, array myself, and live. Canst thou believe thy living is a life so stinkingly depending? Go mend, go mend.
Indeed, it does stink in some sort, sir, but yet, sir, I would prove.
Nay, if the devil have given thee proofs for sin, thou wilt prove his. Take him to prison, officer. Correction and instruction must both work, ere this rude beast will profit.
He must before the deputy, sir. He has given him warning. The deputy cannot abide a whoremaster. If he be a whoremonger and comes before him, he were as good go a mile on his errand.
I spy comfort, I cry bail. Here's a gentleman and a friend of mine.
My friend, I cannot hear you.
I said, the day has been long. I seem to have misplaced my own thoughts. Give me a moment while I collect them. Noble Pompey, what at the wheels of Caesar? Art thou led in triumph? What is there none of Pygmalion's images? Newly made woman to be had now for putting the hand in the pocket and extracting it clutched? What reply, huh?
Still thus, and thus still worse.
How doth my dear morsel thy mistress? Procures she still, huh?
Troth, sir, she hath eaten up all her beef, and she is herself in the tub.
Why, 'tis good. It is the right of it, it must be so. Art thou going to prison, Pompey?
Yes, faith, sir.
Why, 'tis not amiss, Pompey. Farewell, go, say I sent thee thither. For debt, Pompey, or how?
For being a bawd, for being a bawd.
Well, then imprison him. If imprisonment be due of a bawd, why, 'tis his right. Bawd he is doubtless, and of antiquity too. Bawd born. Farewell, good Pompey.
Well, I hope, sir, your good worship will be my bail.
No, indeed will I not, Pompey. It is not the wear. I will pray, Pompey, to increase your bondage. Adieu, trusty Pompey. Bless you, friar.
And you.
Come your ways, sir, come.
You will not bail me then, sir?
Then, Pompey, nor now. What news abroad, friar?
Come your ways, sir, come.
Go to the kennel, Pompey, go. What news, friar, of the Duke?
I know none. Can you tell me of any?
Some say he is with the Emperor of Russia. Others he's in Rome, but where he is, think you?
I know not where, but wheresoever I wish him well.
It was a mad, fantastical trick of him to steal from the state and usurp the beggary he was never born to. Lord Angelo dukes it well in his absence.
He does well in it.
They say this Angelo was not made by man and woman after this downright way of creation. Is it true, think you?
How should he be made then?
Well, some report a sea maid spawned him, some that he was begot between two stockfishes. But it is certain that when he makes water, his urine is congealed ice.
You are pleasant, sir, and speak apace.
Why, what a ruthless thing is this in him, for the rebellion of a codpiece to take away the life of a man? Would the Duke that is absent have done this? Ere he would have hanged a man for the getting 100 bastards, he would have paid for the nursing of 1,000. He had some feeling of the sport. He knew the service, and that instructed him to mercy.
I never heard the absent Duke much detected for women. He was not inclined that way.
Oh, sir, you are deceived. Sir, I was an inward of his. A shy fellow was the Duke, and I believe I know the cause of his withdrawing.
What, I prithee, might be the cause?
No, pardon. 'Tis a secret that must be locked within the teeth and the lips. But this I can tell you, I can let you understand. The greater file of the subject held the Duke to be wise.
Wise? Why, no question, but he was.
A very superficial, ignorant, unweighing fellow.
Either this is the envy in you, folly, or mistaking the very stream of his life, and the business he hath helmed must, upon a warranted need, give him a better proclamation. Therefore, you speak unskillfully, or, if your knowledge be more of it, is much darkened in your malice.
Sir, I know him, and I love him.
Love talks with better knowledge, and knowledge with dearer love.
Come, sir, I know what I know.
I can hardly believe that, since you know not what you speak. But if ever the Duke return, as our prayers are he may, let me desire you to make your answer before him. If it be honest you have spoke, you have courage to maintain it. I am bound to call upon you, and I pray, your name?
Sir, my name is Lucio, well known to the Duke.
He shall know you better, sir, if I may live to report you.
I fear you not. Canst thou tell if Claudio died tomorrow or no?
Why should he die, sir?
Why? For filling a bottle with a tune dish. I would the Duke we talked of who returned again. The Duke yet would have dark deeds darkly answered. He would never bring them to light were he returned. Mary, this Claudio is condemned for untrussing. Farewell, good friar. I prithee, pray for me.
Go, away with her to prison.
Good, my lord, be good to me. Your honor is accounted a merciful man. Good, my lord.
Double and treble admonition, and still forfeit in the same kind. This would make mercy swear and play the tyrant.
A bond of 11 years continuance, may it please your honor.
My lord, this is one Lucio's information against me. Mistress Kate Keepdown was with child by him in the Duke's time. He promised her marriage. His child is 1.25 years old. I have kept it myself, and see how he goes to abuse me.
That fellow is a fellow of much license. Let him be called before us. Away with her to prison. Go to, no more words. Provost, my brother Angelo will not be altered. Claudio must die tomorrow. Let him be furnished with divines and have all charitable preparation. If my brother wrought by my pity, it should not be so with him.
So please you, this friar hath been with him and advised him for the entertainment of death.
Good even, good father.
Bless and goodness on you.
Of whence are you?
Not of this country. I am a brother of gracious order, late come from the sea, in special business from his holiness.
What news abroad in the world?
None, but that there is so great a fever on goodness that the dissolution of it must cure it. I pray you, sir, of what disposition was the Duke?
One that, above all other strifes, contended especially to know himself.
What pleasure was he given to?
Rather rejoicing to see another marry than marry at anything which professed to make him rejoice. A gentleman of all temperance. Let me desire to know how you find Claudio prepared. I am made to understand you have lent him visitation.
He professes to have received no sinister measure from his judge, but most willingly humbles himself to the determination of justice. Yet had he framed to himself many deceiving promises of life, which I have discredited to him, and now is he resolved to die.
You have paid the heavens your function, and the prisoner the very debt of your calling. I am going to visit the prisoner. Fare you well.
Oh, peace be with you. Shame to him whose cruel striking kills for faults of his own liking. Twice treble shame on Angelo to weed my vice and let his grow. What may man within him hide, though angel on the outward side? Craft against vice I must apply. But Angelo tonight shall lie, his old betrothed but despised. So disguise shall by the disguised pay with falsehood false exacting, and perform an old contracting.
Act 4. In a beautiful moated garden. In a beautiful moated garden at St. Luke's, the Lady Mariana, former betrothed of Angelo, listens to a song of a young servant boy as she waits for a visitor.
Take, oh, take these lips away, that so sweetly were forsworn, and those eyes the break of day, the lips that do mislead the morn. But my kisses bring again, seals of love, but sealed in vain, sealed in vain.
Break off thy song, and haste thee quick away. Here comes a man of comfort, whose advice hath often stilled my brawling discontent. I cry you mercy, sir, and well could wish you had not found me here so musical. Let me excuse me, and believe me so. My mirth it much displeased, but pleased my woe.
'Tis good, though music oft hath such a charm to make bad good and good provoke to harm. I pray you, tell me, hath anybody inquired for me here today? Much upon this time have I promised here to meet.
You have not been inquired after. I have sat here all day.
I do constantly believe you. The time is come even now. I shall crave your forbearance a little. Maybe I will call upon you anon for some advantage to yourself.
I am always bound to you.
Very well met, and welcome. What is the news from this good deputy?
He hath a garden circumfered with brick, whose western side is with a vineyard back, and to that vineyard is a planched gate that makes his opening with this bigger key. This other doth command a little door, which from the vineyard to the garden leads. There have I made my promise upon the heavy middle of night to call upon him.
Oh, but shall you on your knowledge find the way?
I have taken a due and wary note upon't.
Are there no other tokens between you agreed concerning her observance?
No, none, but only a repair in the dark, and that I have possessed him my most stay can be but brief. For I have made him know I have a servant comes along with me that stays upon me, whose persuasion is, I come about my brother.
'Tis well borne up. I have not yet made known to Mariana a word of this. What, ho, within, come forth. I pray you, be acquainted with this maid. She comes to do you good.
I do desire the like.
Persuade yourself that I respect you.
Good friar, I know you do, and have found it.
Take then this your companion by the hand, who hath a story ready for your ear. I shall attend your leisure, but make haste, the vaporous night approaches.
Will it please you walk aside?
O place and greatness, millions of false eyes are stuck upon thee. Volumes of report run with these false and most contrarious quests upon thy doings. Thousands escape of wit, make thee the father of their idle dreams, and rack thee in their fancies. Oh, welcome. How agreed?
She'll take the enterprise upon her, father, if you advise it.
Oh, it is not my consent, but my entreaty too.
Little have you to say when you depart for him, but soft and low, remember now my brother.
Fear me not.
More gentle daughter, fear you not at all. He is your husband on a pre-contract. To bring you thus together, 'tis no sin, sith that the justice of your title to him doth flourish the deceit. Come, let us go, our corns to reap, and yet our tithes to sow.
In another dismal room of the prison, the provost offers Pompey the Clown a rather unpleasant deal to cut his sentence short. The provost speaks.
Come hither, sirrah. Can you cut off a man's head?
If the man be a bachelor, sir, I can, but if he be a married man, he's his wife's head, and I can never cut off a woman's head.
Yeah, go, sir. Leave me your snatches and yield me a direct answer. Tomorrow morning are to die Claudio and Barnardine. Here in our prison, a common executioner who in his office lacks a helper. If you will take it on you to assist him, it shall redeem you from your gyves. If not, you shall have your full time of imprisonment at your deliverance with an unpitied whipping, for you have been a notorious bawd.
Sir, I have been an unlawful bawd time out of mine, but yet I will be content to be a lawful hangman. I would be glad to receive some instruction from my fellow partner.
Ah, what ho? Abhorson? Abhorson? Who's there, Abhorson?
Do you call, sir?
Sirrah, here is a fellow with to help you tomorrow with your execution, if you think it meet. Compound with him by the year and let him abide here with you. If not, use him for the present and dismiss him. He cannot plead his estimation with you, for he hath been a bawd.
A bawd, sir? Fie upon him! He will discredit our mystery.
Go to, sir. You weigh equally. A feather will turn the scale.
Pray, sir, by your good favor, do you call, sir, your occupation a mystery?
Aye, sir, a mystery.
Painting, sir, I have heard say is a mystery. And your horse, sir, being members of my occupation, using painting to prove my occupation a mystery. But what mystery there should be in hanging? If I should be hanged, I cannot imagine.
Sir, it is a mystery.
Are you agreed?
Sir, I will serve him, for I do find your hangman is a bit more penitent trade than your bawd. He doth oftener ask forgiveness.
Oh, you, sirrah, provide your block and your axe tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
Come on, bawd. I will instruct thee in my trade. Follow.
I do desire to learn, sir, and I hope if you have occasion to use me for your own turn, you shall find me here for truly, sir, for your kindness. I owe you a good turn.
Call hither Barnardine and Claudio. The one has my pity and not a jot the other, being a murderer, though he were my brother. Look, here's a warrant, Claudio, for thy death. 'Tis now dead midnight, and by 8 tomorrow thou must be made immortal. Where's Barnardine?
As fast locked up in sleep as guiltless labor when it lies starkly in the traveler's bones. We will not wake.
What can you do on him? Well, go prepare yourself. But hark! What noise? Heaven give your spirits comfort. I hope it is some pardon or reprieve for the most gentle Claudio. Oh, welcome, Father.
Best and wholesomest spirits of the night envelop you, good provost. Who called here of late?
None since the curfew rung.
Not Isabel?
No.
They will then, ere it be long.
What comfort is for Claudio?
There's some in hope.
It is a bitter deputy.
Now are they come. This is a gentle provost, seldom when the stealing gaoler is the friend of men. Oh, how now? What noise? That spirit's possessed with haste, that wounds the insisting postern with these strokes.
There he must stay until the officer. Arise and let him in. He is called up.
Have you no countermand for Claudio yet, but he must die tomorrow?
None, sir, none.
As near the drawing, provost, as it is, you shall hear more ere morning.
I happily you something know, yet I believe there comes no countermand, no such example have we. Besides, upon the very siege of justice, Lord Angelo hath to the public ear professed to the contrary. Oh, this is his lordship's man.
And here comes Claudio's pardon.
My lord hath sent you this note, and by me this further charge, that you swerve not from the smallest article of it, neither in time, matter, or other circumstance. Good morrow, for as I take it, it is almost day.
I shall obey him. I told you, Lord Angelo, belike thinking me remiss in mine office awakens me with this unwanted putting on. Methinks strangely, for he hath not used it before.
I'll pray you, let's hear.
Whatsoever you may hear to the contrary, let Claudio be executed by 4 of the clock, and in the afternoon Barnardine. For my better satisfaction, let me have Claudio's head sent to me by 5. Let this duty be performed with a thought that more depends on it than we must yet deliver. Thus fail not to do your office, as you will answer for it at your peril. Oh, what say you to this, sir?
What is that Barnardine who is to be executed in the afternoon?
One that is a prisoner 9 years old.
How came it that the absent Duke had not either delivered him to his liberty or executed him? I have heard it was ever his manner to do so.
His friends still wrought reprise for him, and indeed, his fact till now in the government of Lord Angelo came not to an undoubtful proof.
Hath he borne himself penitently in prison? How seems he to be touched?
A man that apprehends death no more dreadfully, but as a drunken sleep, careless, reckless, and fearful of fearless of what's past, present, or to come, insensible of morality, and desperately mortal.
More of him, anon. There is written in your brow, provost, honesty and constancy. Claudio, whom here you have warrant to execute, is no greater forfeit to the law than Angelo, who hath sentenced him. To make you understand this in a manifested effect, I crave but 4 days' respite, for the which you are to do me both a present and a dangerous courtesy.
Pray, sir, in what?
In the delaying of death.
Lack, how may I do it, having the hour limited and an express command under penalty to deliver his head in the view of Angelo?
By the vow of mine order, I warrant you, if my instructions may be your guide, let this Barnardine be this morning executed, and his head borne to Angelo.
Angelo has seen them both, and will discover the favor.
Death's a great disguiser, and you may add to it, shave the head and say it was the desire of the penitent to be so bared before his death. You know the course is common. If anything fall to you upon this, more than thanks and good fortune, by the saint whom I profess, I will plead against it with my life.
Pardon me, father, but it is against my oath.
Were you sworn to the Duke or to the deputy?
To him and to his substitutes.
You will think you have made no offense if the Duke avouch the justice of your dealing?
But what likelihood is in that?
Not a resemblance, but a certainty. Yet, Since I see you fearful, I will go further than I meant to pluck all fears out of you. Look to you, sir. Here is the hand and seal of the Duke. You know the character, I doubt not, and the signet is not strange to you.
I know them both.
The contents of this is the return of the Duke, where you shall find within these 2 days he will be here. This is a thing that Angelo knows not, for he this very day receives letters of strange tenor. Put not yourself into amazement how these things should be. All difficulties are but easy when they are known. Call your executioner, and off with Barnardine's head. You are amazed, but this shall absolutely resolve you. Come away. It's almost clear dawn.
In another room of the prison, Abhorsen and Pompey come to tell Barnardine of his gory fate. Abhorsen speaks.
Sirrah, bring Barnardine hither.
Master Barnardine, you must rise and be hanged. Master Barnardine.
What ho, Barnardine?
Pox to your throats. Who makes that noise there? What are you?
Your friend, sir, the hangman. You must be so good, sir, to rise and be put to death.
Oh, you roll away. I'm sleepy.
Tell him he must awake, and that quickly too.
Pray, Master Barnardine, awake till you are executed and sleep afterwards.
Go into him and fetch him out.
No, he is coming, sir. He is coming. I hear his straw rustle.
Is the axe upon the block, sirrah?
Very ready, sir.
No, Abhorsen. What's the news with you?
Oh, truly, sir, I would desire you to clap your hands into prayer, for look you, the warrants come.
You rogue, I have been drinking all night. I am not fitted for it.
Oh, the better, sir, for he that drinks all night and is hanged betimes in the morning may sleep the sounder all the next day.
Look you, sir, here comes your ghostly father. Do we just now? Thank you.
Good friar, we hear you not.
Sir, induced by my charity and hearing how hastily you are to depart, I am come to advise you, comfort you, and pray with you.
No, friar, not I. I've been drinking hard all night, and I will have more time to prepare me, or they shall beat out my brains with billets. I will not consent to die this day, that's certain.
Oh, sir, you must, and therefore I beseech you, look forward on the journey you shall go.
I swear I will not die today for any man's persuasion.
But hear you.
No, not a word. If you have anything to say to me, come to my ward, for thence will not I today.
Unfit to live or die, oh gravel heart. After him, fellows, bring him to the block.
Now, sir, how did you find the prisoner?
Creature unprepared, unmeet for death, and to transport him in the mind he is were damnable.
He here in the prison, father, there died this morning of a cruel fever one Ragnazine, a most notorious pirate, a man of Claudio's years, his beard and his head just of his color. What if we do omit this reprobate till he were well inclined, and satisfy the deputy with the visage of Ragnazine more like to Claudio?
Oh, 'tis an accident that heaven provides. Dispatch it presently. The hour draws on, prefixed by Angelo. See this be done, and sent according to command.
Oh, this shall be done, good father, most presently. But Barnardine, must die this afternoon. And how shall we continue, Claudio, to save me from the danger that might, if it were known he were alive?
Let this be done. Put them in secret holds, both Barnardine and Claudio. Ere twice the sun hath made his journal greeting to the under generation, you shall find your safety manifested.
I am your free dependent.
Quick, dispatch and send the hand to Angelo. Now will I write letters to Angelo. The provost he shall bear them, whose contents shall witness to him I am near at home, and that by gracious injunctions I am bound to enter publicly. Him I'll desire to meet me at the consecrated fount, a league below the city, and from thence, by cold gradation and well-balanced form, we shall proceed with Angelo.
Peace Ho be here.
Oh, tongue of Isabel. She's come to know if yet her brother's pardon be come hither. But I will keep her ignorant of her good, to make her heavenly comforts of despair when it is least expected.
Ho, by your leave.
Oh, good morning to you, fair and gracious daughter.
The better given me by so holy a man, hath the deputy sent my brother's pardon.
Yes, he hath released him, Isabel, from the world. His head is off and sent to Angelo.
Nay, but it is not so.
It is no other. Show your wisdom, daughter, in your close patience.
Go, I will to him and pluck out his eyes.
Oh, you shall not be admitted to his sight.
Unhappy Claudio, wretched Isabel, injurious world, most damned Angelo.
This nor hurts him, nor profits you a jot. Forbear it, therefore. Give your cause to heaven. The Duke comes home tomorrow. One of our convent already he hath carried notice to Aeschylus and Angelo, who do prepare to meet him at the gates, there to give up their power. If you can, pace your wisdom in that good path that I would wish it go, and you shall have your bosom on this wretch, grace of the Duke, revenges of the heart, and general honor.
I am directed by you.
This letter, then, send to Friar Thomas. 'Tis that he sent me of the Duke's return. Say, by this token, I desire his company at Mariana's house tonight. Her cause and yours, I'll perfect him withal, and he shall bring you before the Duke, and to the head of Angelo, accuse him home and home. For my poor self, I am combined by a sacred vow and shall be absent. Who's here?
Good even. Friar, where's the provost?
Not within, sir.
They say the Duke will be here tomorrow. By my troth, Isabel, I loved thy brother. If the old fantastical Duke of Dark Corners had been at home, he had lived.
Sir, the Duke is marvelous little beholding to your reports, but the best is he lives not in them.
Friar, thou knowest not the Duke so well as I do. He's a better woodman than thou takest him for.
Well, you'll answer this one day. Fare you well.
Nay, tarry. I'll go along with thee. I can tell thee pretty tales of the Duke.
You have told me too many of him already, sir, if they be true. If not true, none were enough.
I was once before him for getting a wench with child.
Do you such a thing?
Yes, Mary, did I. But I was fain to forswear it. They would have married me to the rotten meddler.
Sir, your company is fairer than honest. Rest you well.
By my troth, I'll go with thee to Lane's End. If body talk offend you, we'll have very little of it. Nay, friar, I am a kind of burr. I shall stick.
In the office, Angelo and Aeschylus discuss the odd pattern of letters received from Duke Vincentio. His tone and tenor have been contradictory and his request strange. Aeschylus speaks.
Every letter he hath writ disvouched the other.
In most uneven and distracted manner. His actions show much like to madness. Pray heaven his wisdom be not tainted. And why meet him at the gates and redeliver our authorities there?
I guess not.
And why should we proclaim it in an hour before his entering, that if any crave redress of justice, they should exhibit their petitions in the street?
He shows his reason for that, to have a dispatch of complaints and to deliver us from devices hereafter, which shall then have no power to stand against us.
Well, I beseech you, let it be proclaimed betimes of the morn. I'll call at your house. Give notice to such men of sort and suit as are to meet him.
I shall, sir. Fare you well.
Good night. This deed unshapes me quite, makes me unpregnant and dull to all proceedings. A deflowered maid, and by an eminent body that enforced the law against it, but that her tender shame will not proclaim against her maiden lost, how might she tongue me? Yet reason dares her no, for my authority bears of a credent bulk that no particular scandal once can touch, but confounds the breather. He should have lived, save that riotous youth with dangerous sense might in the times to come have ta'en revenge, by so receiving a dishonored life with ransom of such shame. Would yet he had lived. Alack, when once our grace we have forgot, nothing goes right. We would, and we would not.
In a field beyond the city walls, Duke Vincentio, no longer disguised, sends Friar Thomas on a quest to bring gentlemen of Vienna to him. The Duke speaks.
These letters at fit time deliver me. The provost knows our purpose and our plot. The matter being afoot, keep your instruction and hold you ever to our special drift, though sometimes you do blench from this to that, as cost doth minister. Go, call at Flavius's house, and tell him where I stay. Give the like notice to Valentinus, Rowland, and to Crassus, and bid them bring the trumpets to the gate, but send me Flavius first.
It shall be speeded well.
Standing in the predetermined place, just outside the city gates, Isabella and Mariana nervously awake the Duke and their plans. Isabella speaks.
To speak so indirectly, I am loath. I would say the truth, but to accuse him so, that is your part. Yet I am advised to do it. He says to veil full purpose.
Be ruled by him.
Besides, he tells me that if peradventure he speak against me on the adverse side, I should not think it strange, for 'tis a physic that's bitter to sweet end.
I would, Friar Thomas.
Oh, peace. The friar is come.
Come, I have found you out a stand most fit, where you may have such vantage on the Duke, he shall not pass you. Twice have the trumpets sounded. The generous and gravest citizens have hent the gates, and very near upon the Duke is entering. Therefore hence, away.
Act 5. At the gates of Vienna, a veiled Mariana, Isabella, and Friar Thomas stand waiting. Duke Vincentio and his lords are greeted by Angelo and Aeschylus, who have no idea what's about to happen. The Duke speaks.
My very worthy cousin, fairly met. Our old and faithful friend, we are glad to see you.
Happy return be to your royal grace.
Many and hearty thankings to you both. We have made inquiry of you, and we hear such goodness of your justice that our soul cannot but yield you forth to public thanks, forerunning more requital.
You make my bonds still greater.
Give me your hand, and let the subjects see, to make them know that outward courtesies would fain proclaim favors that keep within. Come, Aeschylus, you must walk by us on our other hand, and good supporters are you.
Now is your time. Speak loud and kneel before him.
Justice, O royal Duke, veil your regard upon a wronged. I would fain have said a maid. O worthy prince, dishonor not your eye by throwing it on any other object till you have heard me in my true complaint and given me justice, 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 justice.
Oh, relate your wrongs, in what, by whom, be brief. Here is Lord Angelo, shall give you justice. Reveal yourself to him.
Oh, worthy Duke, you bid me seek redemption of the devil. Hear me yourself, for that which I must speak must either punish me not being believed or wring redress from you. Hear me, oh, hear me here.
My lord, her wit wits, I fear me, are not firm. She hath been a suitor to me for her brother, cut off by course of justice.
By course of justice.
And she will speak most bitterly and strange.
Most strange, and yet most truly will I speak. That Angelo's forsworn, is it not strange? That Angelo's a murderer, is not strange? That Angelo is an adulterous thief and hypocrite, a virgin violator, is it not strange and strange?
Nay, it is 10 times strange.
It is not truer he is Angelo than this is all as true as it is strange. Nay, it is 10 times true, for truth is truth to the end of reckoning.
Away with her, poor soul. She speaks this in the infirmity of sense.
O Prince, I conjure thee, as thou believest there is another comfort from this world, then thou neglect me not with that opinion that I am touched with madness. 'Tis not impossible, but one, the wickedest caitiff on the ground, may seem as shy, as grave, as just, as absolute as Angelo. Even so, may Angelo, in all his dressing, cataracts, titles, forms, be an arch villain. Believe it, royal prince.
By mine honesty, if she be mad, as I believe no other, her madness hath the honest frame of sense.
Oh, gracious Duke, let not your reason serve to make the truth appear when it seems hid, and hide the false seems true.
What would you say?
I am the sister of one Claudio, condemned upon the act of fornication to lose his head, condemned by Angelo. I in prohibition of a sisterhood was sent to by my brother, one Lucio as then the messenger.
That's I, and like your grace. I came to her from Claudio and desired her to try her gracious fortune with Lord Angelo for her brother's pardon.
That's he indeed.
You were not bid to speak.
No, my good lord, nor wish to hold my peace.
Wish you now, then, pray you take note of it, and when you have a business for yourself, pray heaven you then be perfect.
This gentleman told somewhat of my tale.
Right.
It may be right, but you are in the wrong to speak before your time. Proceed.
I went to this pernicious caitiff deputy.
That's somewhat madly spoken.
Pardon it, the phrase is to the matter.
Mend it again. The matter, proceed.
How I persuaded, how I prayed and kneeled, how he refelled, and how I replied, for this was of much length the vile conclusion I now begin with grief and shame to utter. He would not, but by gift of my chaste body release my brother, and after much debatement my sisterly remorse confutes mine honor, and I did yield to him. But the next morn betimes his purpose surfeiting, he sends a warrant for my poor brother's head.
By heaven, thou knowst not what thou speakst, or else thou art stubborn against his honor in hateful practice. First, his integrity stands without blemish. Next, it imports no reason that with such vehemency he should pursue faults proper to himself. If he had so offended, he would have weighed thy brother by himself and not have cut him off. Someone hath set you on. Confess the truth, and say by whose advice thou camest here to complain.
Oh, you blessed ministers above, keep me in patience and with ripened time unfold the evil which is here wrapped up in countenance. Heaven shield your grace from woe as I thus wrong hence unbelieved go.
I know you'd fain be gone, an officer, to prison with her. Shall we thus permit a blasting and a scandalous breath to fall on him so near us? This needs must be a practice. Who knew of your intent and coming hither?
One that I would were here, Friar Ludowick.
Ghostly father belike. Who knows that Lodowick?
My lord, I know him. 'Tis a meddling friar. I do not like the man. Had he been lay, my lord, for certain words he spake against your grace in your retirement, I had swinged him soundly.
Words against me? Let this friar be found.
But yesternight, my lord, she and that friar, I saw them at the prison.
saucy friar, a very scurvy fellow.
Blessed be your royal grace. I have stood by my lord, and I have heard your royal ear abused. First, hath this woman most wrongfully accused your substitute, who is as free from touch or soil with her as she from one ungot.
Know you that Friar Lodowick that she speaks of?
I know him for a man divine and holy, not scurvy nor a temporary meddler, as he's reported by this gentleman, and on my trust a man that never yet did, as he vouches, misreport your grace.
My lord, most villainously, believe it.
Well, he in time may come to clear himself, but at this instant he is sick, my lord, of a strange fever. Upon his mere request being come to knowledge that there was complaint intended against Lord Angelo, came I hither to speak as from his mouth what he doth know is true and false, and what he with his oath and all probation will make up full clear whensoever he is convented. First, for this woman. To justify this worthy nobleman so vulgarly and personally accused, her shall you disprove to her eyes, till she herself confess it.
Good friar, let's hear it. Is this the witness, friar? First, let her show her face, and after speak.
Pardon, my lord. I will not show my face until my husband bid me.
What? Are you married?
No, my lord.
Are you a maid?
No, my lord.
A widow, then?
Neither, my lord.
Why, you are nothing, then. Neither maid, widow, nor wife.
My lord, she may be a punk, for many of them are neither maid, widow, nor wife.
Silence that fellow. I would he had some cause to prattle for himself.
Well, my lord.
My lord. I do confess I ne'er was married, and I confess besides I am no maid. I have known my husband, yet my husband knows not that ever he knew me.
He was drunk then, my lord. It can be no better.
For the benefit of silence, would thou wert so too. This is no witness for Lord Angelo.
Now I come to't, my lord. She that accuses him of fornication, in self-same manner doth accuse my husband, and charges him, my lord, with such a time when I'll depose I had him in mine arms, with all the effect of love.
Charges she more than me?
Not that I know.
No? If you say your husband.
Why, just my lord. And that is Angelo, who thinks he knows that he never knew my body, but knows he thinks that he knows Isabel's.
This is strange abuse. Let's see thy face.
My husband bids me. Now I will unmask. This is that face, thou cruel Angelo, which once thou sworest was worth the looking on. This is the hand which with the vowed contract was fast, belocked in thine. This is the body that took away the match from Isabel, and did supply thee at thy garden house in her imagined person.
Know you this woman?
Carnally, she says.
Sirrah, no more.
My lord, I must confess I know this woman. And 5 years since there was some speech of marriage betwixt myself and her, which was broke off, partly for that her promised proportions came short of composition, but in chief for that her reputation was disvalued in levity. Since which time of 5 years I never spake with her, saw her, nor heard from her upon my faith and honor.
Noble prince, as there comes light from heaven, and words from breath, as there is sense in truth and virtue, I am affianced this man's wife as strongly as words can make up vows, and, my good lord, the Tuesday night last gone in Garden's house, he knew me as a wife.
I do perceive these poor informal women are no more but instruments of some mightier member that sets them on. Let me have way, my lord, to find this practice out.
I, with my heart, and punish them to your height of pleasure. You, Lord Aeschylus, sir, sit with my cousin, lend him your kind pains to find out this abuse, whence 'tis derived. There's another friar that set them on. Let him be sent for.
Would he were here, my lord, for he indeed hath set the women on this complaint. Your provost knows the place where he abides, and he may fetch him.
Go, do it instantly. And you, my noble and well-warranted cousin, whom it concerns to hear this matter forth, do with your injuries as seems best in any chastisement. I for a while will leave you, but, sir, stir not till you have well determined upon these slanderers.
My lord, we'll do it thoroughly. Signor Lucio, did not you say that you knew this Friar Lodowick to be a dishonest person?
Oculis non facit monachum. Honest in nothing but in his clothes, and one that hath spoke most villainous speeches of the Duke.
We shall entreat you to abide here till he come and force them against him. We shall find this friar a notable fellow.
As any in Vienna, on my word.
Call that same Isabel here once again. I would speak with her. Pray you, my lord, give me leave to question. You shall see how I'll handle her.
Not better than he by her own report.
Say you?
Marry, sir, I think if you handled her privately, she would sooner confess. Perchance publicly she'll be ashamed.
Come on, mistress. Here's a gentlewoman denies all that you have said.
My lord, here comes the rascal I spoke of here with the provost.
In very good time. Speak not you to him till we call on you.
Mum?
Come, sir. Did you set these women on to slander Lord Angelo? They have confessed you did.
Oh, 'tis false.
How? Know you where you are?
Where is the Duke? 'Tis he should hear me speak.
The Duke's in us, and we will hear you speak. Look, you speak justly.
Boldly, at least. Is the Duke gone? Then is your cause gone too. The Duke's unjust, thus to retort your manifest appeal, and put your trial in the villain's mouth, which here you come to accuse.
This is the rascal. This is he I spoke of.
Yes, not enough thou hast suborned these women to accuse this worthy man, but in foul mouth and in the witness of his proper ear to call him villain? Take him hence to the rack with him. We'll touse you joint by joint, but we will know his purpose. What? Unjust?
Be not so hot. The Duke dare no stretch this finger of mine, then he dare rack his own. His subject am I not, nor here provincial. My business in this state made me a looker on here in Vienna, where I have seen corruption boil and bubble till it overrun the stew.
Slander to the state! Away with him to prison!
What? Can you vouch against him? Signor Lucio, is this the man that you did tell us of?
'Tis he, my lord. Come hither, Goodman Baldpate. Do you know me?
I remember you, sir. By the sound of your voice, I met you at the prison in the absence of the Duke.
Oh, did you so? And do you remember what you said of the Duke?
Most notedly, sir.
Do you so, sir? And was the Duke a fleshmonger, a fool, and a coward, as you reported him to be?
Oh, you must, sir, change persons with me, ere you make that my report. You indeed spoke of him so, and much more, much worse.
Oh, thou damnable fellow, did not I pluck thee by the nose for thy speeches?
I protest, I love the Duke as I love myself.
Hark! How the villain would close now after his treasonable abuses.
Such a fellow is not to be talked withal. Away with him to prison. Where's the provost? Away with him to prison. Lay bolts enough upon him. Let him speak no more.
Bald-pated, lying rascal. You must be hooded, must you? Show your knave's visage with a pox to you. Show you sheep-biting face and be hanged an hour. Wilt not off?
Thou art the first knave that ever madest a duke. First, protest, provost, let me bail these gentle three. Sneak not away, sir, for the friar and you must have a word anon. Lay hold on him.
This may prove worse than hanging.
What you have spoke, I pardon. Sir, by your leave, hast thou or word or writ or impudence that yet can do thee office? If thou hast, rely upon it till my tale be heard, and hold no longer out.
Oh, my dread lord, I should be guiltier than my guiltiness. Then, good prince, no longer session hold upon my shame, but let my trial be mine own confession. Immediate sentence and then sequent death is all the grace I beg.
Come hither, Mariana. Say, was thou ever contracted to this woman?
I was, my lord.
Go take her hence, and marry her instantly. Do you the office, friar, which consummate, return him here again. Go with him, provost.
My lord, I am more amazed at his dishonor than at the strangeness of it.
Come hither, Isabel. Your friar is now your prince, as I was then, advertising and wholly to your business, not changing heart with habit. I am still attorneyed at your service.
Oh, give me pardon that I, your vassal, have employed and pained your unknown sovereignty.
Oh, you are pardoned, Isabel. Your brother's death, I know, sits at your heart, and you may marvel why I obscured myself, laboring to save his life, and would not rather make rash remonstrance of my hidden power than let him be so lost. Most kind maid, it was the swift celerity of his death that brained my purpose, but peace be with him, that life is better life, past fearing death, than that which lives to fear. Make it your comfort. So happy is your brother.
I do, my lord.
For this new married man approaching here, whose salt imagination yet hath wronged your well-defended honor, you must pardon for Mariana's sake. But as he adjudged your brother being criminal in double violation of sacred chastity and of promise breach, thereon dependent for your brother's life. The very mercy of the law cries out, most audible even from his proper tongue, an Angelo for Claudio, death for death. Haste still plays haste, and leisure answers leisure. Like doth quit like, and measure still for measure. Then, Angelo, thy faults thus manifested, which, though thou wouldst deny, denies thee vantage. We do condemn thee to the very block where Claudio stooped to death, and with like haste, away with him.
Oh, my gracious lord! I hope you will not mock me with a husband.
It is your husband mocked you with a husband. We do in state and would you withal to buy you a better husband.
Oh, my dear lord, I crave no other, nor no better man.
Never crave him. We are definitive.
Gentle, my liege.
Oh, you do but lose your labor. Away with him to death. Now, sir.
Oh, my good lord. Sweet Isabel, take my part. Lend me your knees, and all my life to come, I'll lend you all my life to do you service.
Against all sense, you do importune her. Should she kneel down in mercy of this fact, her brother's ghost has paved bed would break, and take her hence in horror.
Isabel, sweet Isabel, do yet but kneel by me. Hold up your hands, say nothing. I'll speak all. They say best men are molded out of faults, and for the most become much more the better for being a little bad. So may my husband, oh, Isabel, will you not lend a knee?
He dies for Claudio's death.
Most bounteous sir, look, if it please you, on this man condemned. As if my brother lived, I partly think a due sincerity governed his deeds till he did look on me. Since it is so, let him not die. My brother had but justice in that he did the thing for which he died, for Angelo. His act did not o'ertake his bad intent, and must be buried but as intent that perished by the way. Thoughts are no subjects, intents but merely thoughts.
Merely, my lord.
Your suit's unprofitable. Stand up, I say. I have bethought me of another fault. Provost, how came it Claudio was beheaded at an unusual hour?
It was commanded so.
Had you a special warrant for the deed?
No, my good lord, it was by private message.
For which I do discharge you of your office. Give up your keys.
Pardon me, noble lord. I thought it was a fault, but knew it not, yet it did repent me, after more advice, for testimony whereof, one in prison that should by private order else have died, I've reserved alive.
What's he?
His name is Barnardine.
I would thou hast done so by Claudio. Go fetch him hither. Let me look upon him.
I am sorry one so learned and so wise as you, Lord Angelo, have still appeared should slip up so grossly, both in the heat of blood and lack of tempered judgment afterward.
I am sorry that such sorrow I procure, and so deep sticks it in my penitent heart that I crave death more willingly than mercy. 'Tis my deserving, and I do entreat it.
Which is that, Barnardine?
This, my lord.
Sirrah, thou art said to have a stubborn soul that apprehends no further than this world, and squarest thy life according. Thou art condemned, but for these earthly faults I quit them all. What muffled fellow's that?
This is another prisoner that I saved, who should have died when Claudio lost his head, almost like to Claudio himself.
Ye be like your brother, for his sake is he pardoned, and for your lovely sake, give me your hand, and say you will be mine. He is my brother too, but fitter time for that. By this Lord Angelo perceives he's safe. Methinks I see a quickening in his eye. Well, Angelo, your evil quits you well. Look that you love your wife, her worth yours. I find an apt remission in myself, and yet here's one in place I cannot pardon. You, sirrah, that knew me for a fool, a coward, one all of luxury, an ass, a madman, wherein have I so deserved of you that you extol me thus?
Faith, my lord, I spoke it but according to the trick. If you will hang me for it, you may, but I had rather it would please you I might be whipped.
Whipped first, sir, and hanged after. Proclaim it, provost, round about the city. Is any woman wronged by this lewd fellow? As I have heard him swear himself, there's one whom he begot with child. Let her appear, and he shall marry her. The nuptial finished, let him be whipped and hanged.
I beseech your highness, do not marry me to a whore. Your highness said even now I made you a duke. Good my lord, do not recompense me in making me a cuckold.
Upon mine honor, thou shalt marry her. Thy slanders I forgive, and therewithal remit thy other forfeits. Take him to prison and see our pleasure herein executed.
Marrying a punk, my lord, is pressing to death, whipping and hanging.
Slandering a prince deserves it. She, Claudio, that you wronged, look you restore. Joy to you, Mariana. Love her, Angelo. I have confessed her, and I know her virtue. Thanks, good friend Aeschylus, for thy much goodness. There's much behind that is more gratulate. Thanks, provost, for thy care and secrecy. We shall employ thee in a worthier place. Forgive him, Angelo, that brought you home the head of Ragozine for Claudio's. The offense pardons itself. Dear Isabel, I have a motion much imports your good, whereto, if you'll a willing ear incline, what's mine is yours, and what is yours is mine. So bring us to our palace, where we'll show what's yet behind, that's meet you all should know.
Thank you for joining us for tonight's presentation of Measure for Measure. We truly hope you enjoyed the show. And thank you for helping us keep Shakespeare weird and Isabel decidedly single.